Initiating System 1. System 1 loaded.
Alright guys, alright, we are live with Eric Brandt tonight. We are talking about his arrest last week at the courthouse. Alright, and give me 1 second and we're gonna go ahead and bring Eric on.
Hello?
Not yet, Eric. Not yet, Eric.
If you touch me, I will go fuck him until cum squirted out of every pore on his asshole.
Hence a breach of the peace.
Mr. Gunsalz did not actually believe that I was going to stick my penis in his eye sockets until cum squirted out of every pore on his asshole.
Based on your actions, you nearly incited a riot inside that facility with the inmates. Okay?
No, I didn't incite any riots.
You did.
Okay.
They had to be locked down because of your behavior, which is disorderly conduct.
You're getting locked down because of the protester outside. What the fuck is wrong with those people?
They could hear you 50 yards away. The inmates heard you inside those buildings and were starting to become uncontrollable.
Happy Fuck the Cops Day! Remember, it's every day and twice on Tuesday.
All right, so we are live with Eric. Hey, Eric, I want to say happy Fuck the Cops Day.
Happy Fuck the Cops Day. Wait, I don't have my makeup done yet.
Oh, no, not the makeup.
Yeah.
All right, so we have so far 25 watching right now, and we are rolling. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about this arrest that happened last week.
You're talking about the one in Inglewood, Colorado?
Yes, I am, yes. I know there's multiple, so we got to specify.
Right. Well, it's basically the same old, same old. Blueshbag gets his panties in a wad, drags us out in handcuffs.
Okay, all right. And was anybody else there with you?
Yeah, I was there with Cut the Plastic. We actually, Liberty Freak TV and I went there to vindicate Brian Loma, Cut the Plastic, because they tried to trespass him from the building the day before, and also because he's got this ongoing concern about courthouses that have arbitrary policies on allowing medical drugs, prescribed medications. I mean, sure, you're always allowed to take in your birth control because you never know how you're going to get fucked in court. But, what about EpiPens? What about cannabis? And so, yeah.
Okay, well, funny you mentioned that Liberty Freak TV was with you because we have Liberty Freak TV with us today, too.
Hey, I'm on a public sidewalk, sir. Go fuck yourself. You don't fucking scare me, you fuck. You big fat piece of shit. I'm not going to ID myself to you, okay? I'm not answering any questions.
You're not going to identify yourself to
I don't have to identify myself. No justice! No peace! Fuck the police! This is the most abusive and corrupt police officers. Their abuse on the homeless is over the top. They are documented. Check it out. My channel is Liberty Freak TV, all one word. And you can see them being animals out here. You guys are so fucking clownish.
All right, Liberty Freak, you're with us too. How you doing, man?
What's up, y'all?
Hey, so I got both you and Eric on.
Hey, Liberty.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. All right, so can you hear Eric?
Yeah, I can hear you all real well.
All right,
Awesome.
good. Yeah, what was that, Eric? Huh?
I said, hey, happy Fuck the Cops Day, Liberty.
Likewise, Eric. Am I coming in clear?
Yes.
Clear as a bell.
Cool. Let's get this party started.
All
I
right.
just love how technology has brought us all together.
So, go ahead, Liberty. Tell us. I don't know. Whichever one of you guys want to start first, tell us. A little bit. Well, I guess go ahead, Liberty, and tell us. When you got there. What your version of how things went and all that. I do like I said, I have a copy of the rest video queued up. If you want, I can go ahead and play that, and then we can go into it, or we can talk a little bit first and go into that later.
Actually, we didn't really go there for any real protest or activism. We actually went there just to give Brian Loma some support.
Right.
And that was about the medical marijuana, right? That was about the medical. Okay.
And about the trespass question, yeah.
Correct, and I just wanted to document, the whole ordeal, and I just wanted to get it on camera, to see what it was that the response was, as far as him trying to go in with his medical marijuana, and also there's always this question about the cameras in the courtroom, right? And we've noticed that in a lot of these situations, if we wouldn't have had our cameras, our stories would have gone in a whole different direction. So,
oh yeah.
We went there in a peaceful manner. Well, I mean, hell, Eric was actually pretty smooth and laid back. If he could ask anybody that really knows him, right?
It was.
It wasn't myself for a while, but then they changed that.
He didn't do much. He just told the guy don't get stupid and it was over.
Right, so there. I've learned that there are things that will cause people to freak out even more than the word fuck. And that would be a camera or a mask.
Oh
Okay?
no.
Right.
Oh no, not the facial
Right?
garment.
Yeah, so we're there. They've got cameras everywhere. But when we walk to the building with our cameras, the building is on fire. And that was part of the question, right? Because the day before, the building was on fire, and Brian was just there. I mean, he stumbled into this place. There was this great artwork. Here's a nice monument, you know, a government building. He's just recording it, and they just freaked out on him, right? So obviously, we went back to test that question, and at the same time, he wanted some further clarification on this cannabis question. So they're like, well, if you want to leave your bag outside, you can come in, right, and talk to the judge. And I'm like, no, screw that. You keep your bag. I'll go in and talk to the judge.
Right. And then you had taken off your shirt, you know what I mean? Because you had like 48 pins on it, right?
Well, right. So out there, you know, I'm giving the ladies pens. I'm selling these pens. Well, I don't sell them, but people can give donations. I'm kind of a liberal, commie bastard, so it's hard for me to make money with them. But you know, I have all them pins on my shirt. So rather than take off all them pins, you know, fuck it. I'll just take my shirt off and then go through the metal detector.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. You know, there's no reason that he should have to, you know, discard it, you know, trust somebody else with his bag.
But Nomen,
Yeah,
Nomen,
yeah.
I'm glad you have me on the show.
Huh?
Okay, thanks for having me on. I want to tell you that I wanna let everybody know this is gonna be no one knows this. It's first time ever on this show. Okay, and I just want the world to know
Oh God, where's the
that
record button?
that from here on out, I will identify as a black man.
Oh
No,
yes.
no
Yeah,
way.
you know, no. He's not identifying as a black man. He's been identified as a black man. Would you please allow me?
Oh, go ahead, Eric. You have the
Allow me to
latitude.
read. Yeah, let me read from the Holy Script of Thomas Walter Simone.
Which is the security guard that got butthurt because Eric called him fucking stupid. Right?
I don't even remember if I called him or if I said he was being fucking stupid. I don't remember what I said.
Yeah,
But
You said something like, "Don't get fucking stupid," you know.
I think that's about what I said. Something like that. Yeah, he got all fucking stupid. So, no, wait. Now, you guys, let's read the sacred script. At approximately 9:20 a.m., 3 male individuals, 1 black and 2 white, in their mid-40s, walked towards the entrance to the courthouse. Right? So then later on he says, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. He says, one of the white men started to strip and took off his shirt and told me he was going to see the judge now over his constitutional rights. All right, so we know that that's me, right? And then they took control of me. I greased myself up and all that shit. And then he says, the one black man was screaming at everyone, and he told me I was a big baby and other harassing things. Well, Brian Loma didn't say a word, so obviously you're a black man. I don't want to hear this shit that you're self-identifying as black. It's in black and white.
It is on public record that I am a black man.
Oh, wow.
This just goes to show the competence of these people there, right, Nomen?
I'm just so excited that I have a black friend now.
Well, I guess that goes both ways. Then he could say that he has a gay friend.
Yeah, right.
We're not talking about Brian tonight.
Sorry, having a good time.
So,
Well, I was really actually I was really like blown away. I was actually angry at the arrest, right? Because there was like no reason
Yeah.
for an arrest there whatsoever. There was just absolutely no reason for an arrest there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is just going to get sweeter with age, too, right? Because we're going to be doing several programs, Nomen, about this because the many pages, and I warned them. I told them, if you're writing more than about 3 sentences, you're fucking this shit up. Oh, no, they never listen to me. Right? By the time they listen to me, they start getting all panicky and they run into trees and shit.
Oh, did you guys see that today? That was awesome. Did you see that today, Nomen?
What's that? The video that he mirrored today, or?
Yeah,
No.
the one that no. He was just walking today live.
Oh yeah.
I was just minding my own business.
Yeah, and then he hits a tree.
Yeah.
And the cop hits a tree trying to get away from him.
I know.
Did you see it crunch?
I know.
Did it crunch up? Oh, it was hilarious.
What the fuck is wrong with those people?
Hey, nice job on your show, Nomen.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Looks good.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this arrest video real quick here. I'll play both versions of it from your angle and Cut the Plastics angle, and then we'll come back and we'll go ahead and talk about it. That way it's fresh in people's minds, everything, because I'm sure some people, that they don't even know what we're talking about, and then the other ones are like, yeah, that was like a week ago. What are you still talking about now for?
It wasn't even a week ago. Yeah, it's still news. So I'm gonna, if I can, I'm gonna mute myself on this side so I can go out and watch too. Okay?
Okay, no problem. All right.
Yeah, take the reins on the show. We'll go crazy and take over the show.
He was actually being nice and.
If you guys have issues with someone, if you guys have, excuse me? You're pretty fucking stupid, aren't you? You can go back out here after you just called me fucking stupid.
Oh no! Not only are you fucking stupid, you're even fucking stupid.
So he already said something like "Don't get stupid," right? Right there, he's already pissed. He already threw his stuff right out the door.
Who are you to tell him that he can't come in? Are your feelings hurt? Are your feelings hurt? Before you get a fucking huge federal lawsuit, right?
Okay. And then I told him since so you were here yesterday harassing employees.
No, I think you need to stop lying.
After you told me I was fucking stupid. Right? After you told me I was fucking stupid. So you came here and disrespected me and your
Baby, boy, baby. Oh, you soft, tender little girl, you. Boy, Skippy.
And you're recording this?
Yes.
This is how you're harassing. You're harassing me right
I'm
now.
harassing you, you pussy. You're a pussy. Yeah, write me up. That's pussy.
Mr. T, this is obviously a snowflake. Excuse me. What the fuck is wrong with you? Get your fucking hands off my neck!
Hey!
Get out!
Hey, I haven't done a thing.
Hey, somebody call the Englewood Police Department.
Hey, what are you doing? For what? You didn't do anything. What are you doing?
Hey, I'm a sick man.
What are you doing?
I'm a heart condition and everything.
What are you doing?
I'm a goddamn sick man. Somebody call the Englewood Police Department right now. You're fucking lying. You're fucking lying right now, you dumb motherfuckers. You fucking stupid fuck. Tell somebody to get his hands off me. I am a journalist and I have done nothing for this man to touch me. You understand me? Get your fucking hands off me. Okay, this is a legal arrest. You fucking off me. I'm gonna make your fucking constitutional rights, stupid. Before you're here, talk like that in public, dude. Oh, yes, I fucking man, you stupid ass. fucking pussy.
I haven't said a word.
Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Help! Help! Title 42, Section 183 law. You stupid fuck. You for? What am I being arrested for? Disorderly conduct. Okay. Okay. A no protest. Sit up. Hey, Mama, take my phone, Mama.
I got it.
Hey, would you give me my phone, please?
Your phone's my custody.
She's custody. No, it's not. She's my phone.
You can put that right here. This is my stuff. Huh?
You keep my shit. And you're the chief. You get us out of jail, right?
Yep.
Listen, you guys are in custody for disorderly conduct.
Fuck you, pig! Fuck you, pig! Of who? Of who?
Resisting arrest.
I'm not resisting. He called me a stupid motherfucker. Hey, Mama, get the camera on there.
Trying to keep all the property together. He was actually being nice.
You just called me fucking stupid.
Oh no! Not only are you fucking stupid, you're even fucking stupid.
Put your fucking hands on me. Get your hands off me. Get out. I will fuck your mother.
And why are you touching that man?
Get your hands off of me.
Get out.
No.
Go.
No.
Are you gonna cry or are you just gonna leave? You're not coming in.
And who are you to tell him that he can't come in? Were your feelings hurt? Were your feelings hurt? Before you get a fucking huge federal lawsuit, right?
And then I told the 61
So you were here yesterday harassing employees.
Harassing employees.
No, I think you need to stop lying.
Well, because I took it off to get to security and he threw my shit all over the place.
After you told me I was fucking stupid.
That's right.
After you told me I was fucking stupid.
Ah, poor baby. Poor baby. Poor baby. Aw, you soft, tender little girl, you. Poor Skippy. Huh? Yes, I am.
You're harassing? You're harassing me right
I'm
now.
harassing you, you pussy. You're a pussy. You're a pussy. Yeah, write me up. You're a pussy. You tender.
Obviously a snowflake in your house. Excuse me. What the fuck is wrong with you? Get your fucking hand off my neck.
Hey, what the fuck is wrong with you? Hey! Hey, somebody call the Englewood Police Department, right? You better not fucking touch me. Hey, don't fucking touch me. Hey, get your fucking hands off me. Hey, get your fucking hands off me. What the fuck? Hey, I'm a sick man, goddammit. I've got heart conditions and everything, man. I am a goddamn sick man. Somebody call the Englewood Police Department right now. You're fucking live. You're fucking live right now, you dumb motherfuckers. You fucking stupid fucks. Tell this man to get his hands off me. I am a journalist and I have done nothing for this man to touch me. You understand me? Get your fucking hands off me. Okay, this is an illegal arrest. You need to fucking knock it off and learn your fucking constitutional rights, stupid ass, before your immunity is fucking revoked.
Oh, yes, I
so fucking can, you stupid ass. You're dealing. Hey, let me the fuck go, man. Let me the fuck go, you fucking pussy. You're a fucking little girl. You're a fucking pussy. I am gonna keep talking. You're a fucking pussy. I am. And you're. Hey, why?
Because you're interfering.
I'm not resisting.
You are.
I am not. Hold on. I'm a sick man.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Help! 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 Help!
Help me! Somebody help me! Call the police right now! That's a fucking Title 42, Section 183 law. You stupid fuck. For? What am I being arrested for? Disorderly conduct. Okay. Okay. I know protesting.
I got it.
Hey, would you give me my phone, please?
Your phone's my custody.
Keep my phone.
You put that right here. This is my stuff. Huh?
You keep my shit. You need us out of jail, right?
Yep.
Listen, you guys are in custody for disorderly conduct.
Fuck you, Pam! Fuck you, Pam! Who? Oh, poor baby! Cry baby! Cry baby! Cry baby! Cry baby!
Resisting arrest.
I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting.
All right, guys. So Liberty Freaking, Eric, you both still with me?
Of course.
All right, all right. Knock on wood, I haven't had any technical problems today.
Not too scary.
All right. Well, welcome back, Eric. Glad you got to watch yourself.
That was pretty entertaining.
Not too often you get to do that without a mirror, right?
Well, I'm not going to say that.
Okay, so there have been some questions in the chat. I don't know if y'all are watching that or not, but
We are. Yeah.
okay. All right then. Well, then you are.
I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Well, I am. I don't know what Liberty's doing. He's on the other side of the planet right now.
Yeah, well, not the other side, because the flat Earth whole thing. It's the same side, but
Yeah, exactly. So, somebody asked about the guy in the red shirt. That was the deputy chief, wasn't it?
Yes.
well, it turns out it was. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, they wanted to know who that was because they said that he didn't identify himself, and he didn't identify until later. But
Well, that's not what the statements say.
Oh no, they said they all identified that they were police
Repeatedly.
officers.
Yeah.
But he didn't
Repeatedly.
write a statement.
No, he didn't.
Hmm.
Well, not yet. Not yet. He'll wait until I publish on Facebook, and then they'll write a statement to fit.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
all doctored up.
All right.
That's how they do it.
Steve,
As a matter of fact, if
your news
his
now.
gun and his- I didn't even recognize that he was a police officer. And so, that guy, he grabs me by the neck, right? He throws me out the door and says, "Get out!" But he says in his report that he repeatedly told me I was under arrest and I was trying to evade his arrest. But that's not what the video shows, right? Which is why they need body cameras. And then he throws me out and says, "Get out!" And then all of a sudden, this guy comes running at me and reaches for me. I certainly had no idea that he was a blue tag.
In plain clothes, right?
All I see is this guy coming at me from the side, and so I, just like evaded him, and then the chase was on.
So Russell says that the video will convict you. I don't know how that's possible, but that's what Russell
I don't
says.
know how that's possible.
Yeah. Well, the
No.
pigs need to watch the video that then lying bastards. Rachel
Yeah,
watched.
stuff as you can see, the guy doesn't. Excuse me. When the security guard puts his hands on me, I said, "Call the police! Call the police!" And then he looks up at me with a smile. He points over and he goes, "That's the chief." And he smiles at me, and then he puts both hands on me, and he starts to wrestle me around. Now, I haven't done anything. I just said, "Hey, call the police! Somebody call the police!" Right? He just says, "That's a chief," and I guess he felt that since that was a chief, that was his green light to do whatever he wanted. Once he touched me, I got a little pissed, and I get a little emotional. As you all
Wait a minute.
Of
Wait a minute.
course,
You
of
mean that
course.
a private citizen that was brandishing a weapon put hands on you?
More than once, he put hands on me to push me out of the door, and then he later came back to finish putting hands on me. And then he grabbed me, right, like across
Isn't
the
that an
throat.
assault with a deadly weapon?
I mean, I wasn't gonna fight back because he could have shot me, right? I don't know how, but he obviously wasn't afraid because he was smiling and laughing the
He
whole
was
time.
giggling the whole time. He thought that was some funny shit.
Yeah. So I don't understand where his fear came from, but I definitely was fearful. I get loud when I get, when I get a little, I get loud and rowdy like that, so everybody can look at me. Right? I try to
Has
cause,
anybody ever heard a bunch of peacocks going off? It did sound like a farm of peacocks. I'm just saying.
we had to go off because we want people to look, right? Because we want people to see if they get brutal.
All right. Well, apparently Russell didn't mean his statement like that. So if Russell, if you could rephrase that, that'd be great. I'm running a 5-person production studio with 1 person. So if I mistook your comment, I'm sorry. And if anybody wants to call in, you can call in live and ask questions of Liberty Freak and Eric. I noticed Cut the Plastic was in the chat. Welcome, Brian. If you want to call in and give your sort of view of things too, you can do that. All right.
Be careful what you ask for.
I bet, right? It's a good thing that this is a. It's a good thing this is a free speech environment. So,
Bill. Let's all do it together, huh? Can we all do it together? Help! Help!
So, guys, your news now. He's from Indiana here and with me, and he had a question in there. He was saying that he wanted to know if the state even picked up the charges yet or not. I believe they did, right? They're still going to pursue the charges?
On the docket, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on the docket for the 25th.
Yeah, we sure are.
All right. Well, that's interesting. You guys got a faster court date than what I did for humping a cop car, man. I got to go to the 26th for a felony charge on humping a cop car.
Get out of here.
That one, was I in jail?
Yeah, it was when you were in jail, dude. I was going around in my I was going around as qualified as qualified immunity humping squad cars, dude. It would have made you proud. I'll send you links, okay?
Please.
Yeah, please do. That's fucking funny. I might have to go do that myself. I'll do that in the pink tutu. There was consent, says Jerry. That's funny. It's always easier to get consent with chloroform.
Yeah. And, I did find out, though, that it's always better to hump the back of this car instead of trying to put it straight in the front.
Oh, I'd pick the front.
Yeah, well.
But a lot of people say that we get loud and, what's the purpose for all the screaming and all this stuff, but actually all that screaming does have a purpose, doesn't it, Eric?
It does.
It does. As a matter of fact, it's in our discovery, isn't it? Right? Because here we're being assaulted, and one of the women in there, one of the women upstairs in the rotunda, she wrote a statement, and she said that she started recording with her phone, and that video was booked into evidence. She gave it to Deputy Chief Watson and had it booked into evidence. So we have at least another video camera. And yeah, you want to draw attention to these things because it's dangerous. You want to have as many camera angles on it as possible so that you can see them put their finger on the trigger when they shoot your ass.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, if you're yelling help, then obviously you were in distress. You know, they were causing you serious emotional and physical distress. And I mean, what other way to respond but to yell help? But a person that's not in distress doesn't, you know, they just sit there and do nothing.
That was one of my more painful arrests, yeah.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell.
Not as painful as they were bashing me in the back of the head with the remote control to the fuck cops mobile. That one was more painful, but
yeah. Well, and I mean, how does it feel to be drug around like a rag doll?
Well, most of my skin should grow back eventually.
Okay, that's good. Did they at least patch you up like Raggedy Ann? Or Andy? I mean,
No.
Raggedy Andy? No, they didn't patch you up?
No.
They weren't nice enough to
No.
do that. Okay.
They weren't
I
even nice
prefer
enough to give
Raggedy
out cups.
Brandy.
They weren't even nice enough to hand out cups or a toilet.
Yeah, so, I mean, go ahead, talk about your stay at the jail. I mean, was it a 5-star bed and breakfast, or was it like world class or anything?
I'm sorry, I don't know what Liberty Freak's experience at the jail was because for once they didn't put us in the same cell. But my time was hysterical.
Really?
Oh, I had the time of my life. Yeah, it was awesome. I was right next to the desk. So I got to hear all these phone calls coming in for hours. And then they had a shift change, and these guys are out there talking. They're like, yeah, those two activists. Yeah, I guess we missed the main event because there's chalk all over the courthouse and the ramp going to the jail. They put these huge letters, and I'm like laying down on the ground on my mat, with my head hanging over the edge of my mat, with my ears cupped towards the door, the little crack at the bottom of the door. I'm like trying to listen to every word they're saying, and they're like all joking. Yeah, I guess these huge 5-foot letters FTP. I wonder what that means. So I shouted out, "Free the people!" Oh yeah, free the people. No, that's not what it means. So
And I have to give props to Joe that went out there, to back us up and wobble me, and all the folks went out there, man. They came out, they showed up after we were arrested, right? And they just, they protested, and Loma, went out there, right? And all the wonderful people and all our local supporters, man, they just went out there and just chalked it down, and made a big ass noise. Right, and if we can just get more people to do that, maybe they'll be a little nicer.
All right, so airborne.
I gotta tell you, we met Joe finally, right? So I gotta tell you, guys, I really like Joe.
I told you.
Yeah, he's one of my weird internet stalkers because he called me in the middle of the fucking night one night because he'd heard my phone number so many times in all the videos, and there were cops outside his house and he didn't know what to do, and so he calls me and I'm like. Wakes me up and I'm like, lock the door, stand clear of the door, and tell them that you're standing clear of the door. If they've got a warrant, they'll come in. If they don't and they break in the door jam, well, great. Door jams are cheap. Felony prosecutions are expensive. So apparently it worked. The cops left. And it turns out he's right here in Denver. So we've met. He's got a hell of a story. Great guy. I think I really like the guy. And I have video from his phone that he put in his pocket on his pants, and the camera's just like showing. He thought he turned it off, but it was still recording. So we actually have a recording of him chalking up the Inglewood City Hall, and it's hysterical. Yeah, it's like all bubbly and warbly because it's through his pants, but you can clearly make out what they're doing. And this is happening while I'm being taken to the jail. And I'm listening to the radio traffic, and they're like, "Can we get some more units to the city hall? They're tagging all over the place with chalk, blah 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 blah." It was fucking hysterical.
So when I go into the booking area, they call me a paramedic, whatever. But the problem was that I didn't have a toilet, and then with Eric over there, right? Eric's just yelling the funniest shit you've ever heard, right? Like, he's telling them all kinds of shit. You better add this to the statement. You better add that to the statement.
And
And
those
you better quote
did it.
and make sure you quote me on this one and quote me on that one. Make sure you tell them that you were afraid for your life. And they actually did it, right? They're so stupid. They actually did it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do that much laughing, right? And all that anxiety, all the nervousness too, from being arrested and all that shit. And I needed a toilet. They didn't give me a toilet. So I had two options. I either peed on the floor, right? Or I peed in my pants. I felt that if I peed on the floor, they were going to charge me with, like, damaging government property or some shit, right?
Oh, no, wait, this gets worse, right? So I'm in a cell with a bed and a nice blanket that was clean. They brought me a styrofoam cup with cold water in it. I had a toilet. I had fresh water. And so this guy's out there. He's diabetic. He's got to pee. And so I'm being an asshole. I keep drinking water and enjoying the water and flushing the toilet and making him laugh. He eventually couldn't take it anymore and he pissed himself.
As a fellow diabetic, I have to say you are an asshole. You are an asshole for that.
I'm over it.
I mean, but it was like, and then they transfer me over to this room, which was, the mattress, which has no sheet on it. The sheet is all dirty and shit, right? And then there's blood all over the mattress, right? And then the guy was taking the blood and he was doing some graffiti on the bunk above him with the blood. I was like, wow, how long has this been here? Everything was like really dusty. Like you could like run your finger on the bars and they were completely dusty, like if it was an abandoned building. And I was like,
were there bones under the bed?
Yeah, I was like, when's the last time somebody was put in this cell? I was like, holy shit, what's the deal here? Nastiest place ever. Ugh. So,
my cell was clean. It had 2 mattresses, nice fresh blanket. Oh yeah, I was living up the Ritz. This poor guy out there crying for an hour for somewhere to fucking pee. And I certainly didn't do anything to make it easier for him. I was laughing it up.
Yeah, they transferred me over to the hospital, whatever. My pants fell down around my ankles. And,
Stop. I read the report. It's signed by an officer of the court, a law enforcement officer, and he says that you deliberately let go of your pants so that they would fall down, and you started crying and screaming to everybody to look at the abuses that they're doing to you. Now, I read that report.
No, by the time I got out of the car, my pants were like halfway down by my ass, and by the time that I took one step, boom, they just fell to my knee. They just fell to my ass. When I asked him if he could pull my pants up, when I asked him, please, can you pull my pants up? I don't want to walk like this down the street. He's like, my job doesn't pay me to pull pants up.
So, Eric, was you there? Was you there when his pants fell?
No, thank God. Yeah. I don't think that I could have survived seeing such magnificence.
Oh my God, these guys were like brutal. And then when they took me in there all naked or whatever, after they like strangled my nuts, right? They sit me down there. Some mental health chick comes up to me and she's like, she's talking to me and then she goes, I feel that you're a little hostile, and I sense that you're a little angry, and I'm like, hello, I'm sitting here with my balls out.
Hello.
I'm talking to an unknown woman here, naked, from the waist down.
I can see that your keen sense of the obvious hasn't fucking failed you.
All right, guys. Hey, guys, we have a phone call coming in. Someone wants to chat with you guys. You're live on the air with Nomen, Liberty Freak, and Eric Brandt.
I'd like to first off by asking, how's Ebony doing?
So this is swine repellent on the phone.
I'm mad at you, swine.
I can't fucking hear him, man.
Well,
I said I'm mad at you, swine.
Huh?
Take the dick out of your ears, there, swine. Take the dick out of your ear.
He says he's pissed at her.
He said something. Anyway, so I'd like to say a few words words, and then you guys can go back to jerking off. But there is a problem upon these motherfucking channels, and I've had this fucking discussion privately, publicly, clothed, naked, sober, fucking drunk,
Oops.
and it's the same fucking ending.
Oh, we lost
what's my property? It's my
Tragedy.
I can do whatever I want my property, and then
just for the record, I'm not really mad at Swine. I'm mad at Nomen for making me install this stupid app, but I told him I was going to blame it on Swine. So, I'm not really mad at him, but I'm going to let him sweat it out for a minute.
Okay? All of us who are here on this channel support the First Amendment in various ways, okay? And I intentionally,
so how long have you been into
intentionally horribly to everybody.
Shit, Nomen?
Mother, father, Eric, gay, straight, little kids.
Wow, we're just all talking over him and don't even really care what he says or anything like that. That's cool. So,
oh, he's still here? I thought he had fallen off.
Yeah, wait, quiet on my end.
Y'all can't hear him?
Shut the fuck up. What now?
Now I can.
He barely sounds like a little voice in my head, right?
Hey, Aberney, shave your beard. Shave your beard.
Is that the little voice that tells me to kill myself every morning?
It is.
Give me all your money.
I hear him now a little bit.
I can hear him barely.
The point to all this is, if we're going to say, hey, we're going to hold law enforcement accountable, I extend that to fucking my mother. I want a one to any and everybody who has called their own mother a fucking cunt. I have
there he goes again.
in life that say, hey, Mom, you act like a fucking cunt. You have to keep it real on and off air. And so, all this nonsense, I'm blocking almost every fucking channel there fucking is because these fucking snowflakes. And Eric, you are included upon the snowflake fucking family. We've had conversations privately where, I can't associate it upon you publicly because my subs will leave. And just all this fucking nonsense and badly fucking bullshit. So, anyway, I was in such a happy, glorious mood. I had a lawyer yell and scream at me, and God was, I professionally turned on. Then I gotta fucking be blocked by fucking, your fatty self, and then, it's inappropriate to talk about an old, nasty, dried-up cunt Cajun. Anyway, I don't have anything else, so.
At Liberty, I think he just called you an old, dried-up Cajun?
No, I'm referring to Boomer.
Actually, he's Cuba Rican.
I don't have any issues upon. I don't have any problem upon Abney.
Well, Swine, he was accused of being black.
Oh, look, I do.
He wasn't accused. It's in black and white. It's a fact.
Oh, it's a fact now.
You need to shut your mouth, you fake nigga. I'm the real nigga. Only one nigga in the house.
It's a signed affidavit. It is considered fact until it's refuted.
That is true.
Well,
I'm gonna take melanin pills, right? I'm just like load up with beta carotene and shit. Right?
Hey, I could put you in touch with my friend Donald Trump. He's got some skin cream for you.
He does.
So I have a few questions.
It'll darken you right up, buddy.
Yeah, I should get one of those tanning things and do like blackface when I go to the court for the arraignment.
No balls. Wait, no, I know what you do now. Never mind.
Lord. Word ain't fucking edgewise because I'm not homosexual.
I'm in. I think I'm gonna go blackface to fucking the arraignment.
I dare you to go naked.
Blackface to the Gary City Council meetings because maybe they'll violate my rights then.
Go naked, completely painted black, and then put on one of those elephant stocking kind of one of those elephant schnoz kind of G-string kind of things. Like fill it up with the ears.
All right, I have a question.
Oh my God! I was gonna go to my arraignment for free, but I'm gonna pay to see that shit.
Abney is already present, but I'd be pretty shy.
All right, so
I wonder if you will rise to the occasion.
I asked if you call me shy.
So, so Ebony, I guess he's got a question for you.
Yes.
No, I have a question for Eric because
okay.
Ebony is not that interesting. But
man,
anyway,
I'm so sorry.
Ebony,
I keep thinking that you hung up. I'm so sorry. I
would not hang up for this for the fucking world until I am hung up on. But
I keep wishing you'd hang up too.
The fabulous Golden Mountain dominate the fucking conversation. I'm publicly gay and I get special treatment.
You do?
You're rubber chasing.
Oops! I think he got disconnected. I mean, I think he disconnected himself. I don't know what happened. Oops.
I'm bringing on police brutality.
I think he's trying to cut to the chase.
Inside joke, no outside joke. I'm just sitting here with Robert Jr. and is that a middle finger?
That was fun. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Swine Repellent. He'll be performing at the Safeway parking lot all week. He said I wasn't interesting.
So,
Swine.
Yeah, well, I'll make it up to you later, Swine. Don't worry. Hey, I have to tell you, Nomen, I've got to watch the news at 9 o'clock because I did an interview with Fox 31.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long your show normally goes.
No, just however long you want to go.
Liberty Freak to fill in the gaps for a while.
You know what? It's just gonna go until you all tell me, look, I've been on here long enough. You've abused me too much. I'm leaving. Whenever that happens, then we'll go.
Oh, good. See, the thing is that they have a habit of deleting our news stories, so we kind of have to record them while they happen.
Exactly, I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is it going to be on, Eric?
It's going to be on the 9. We're anticipating a 1.5-minute segment on the 9 o'clock news for Fox 31.
Yeah. And I'm saying that they say, fuck no. What else do we have? We have kittens playing.
Well, I don't know. They kicked us out of Union Station in the middle of the interview, and the journalists from Fox 31 were pretty fucking pissed off about it.
Wow, when did this happen?
They got a dose of our medicine, huh?
They want to know why I could record with my phone, but they couldn't record with their cameras. They were pretty fucking pissed.
Well, it was backwards this time, huh? It was backwards this time. Normally we're protesting. It's like, how come if they're in here with their cameras, we can't be in here with our phones? Now it was backwards.
Right, totally backwards. And that journalist was pissed. He says, I don't like being pushed around. This is not cool for me. Right, and we stayed there for a long time until they trespassed us. Wow, they made us leave. And I didn't make a scene because it wasn't my show. But tomorrow, get ready for a motherfucking surprise, bitches. I'll be in that bitch with a fucking mask on. We'll see what you do to me then.
It's a facial garment, not a mask.
Oh, facial garment? Yes. I had no idea that I was so fashionable.
It's a facial garment.
Yeah. And you can just never have too many, bags and shoes and, accessories.
Well, that is good, Eric. I'm glad you're joining the facial garmenting team. Support your local 4th and 5th Amendment.
Support your local police. Beat yourself up.
That too, I guess.
Good God. Fucking Guzman made me lose my voice. It's killing me. He's going to pay for this shit.
So, hey, I was going to ask you, whatever happened to the cop from today? They probably never called you back, did they?
Oh, that call's going to be published later.
Oh, they did call you back. Okay.
Oh, that call's going to be published later.
Any sneak peeks?
I don't want to be a spoiler.
Okay, all right.
It was entertaining.
Okay, well, obviously they didn't come and take you away or something and kidnap you simply so that you couldn't testify against this guy or anything like that. So that's good.
No.
we may
Yeah,
have
no, that wasn't going to happen.
we may have
But I
noticed
couldn't
if they
stick around
kidnapped you.
because I had to interview with Fox 31. So I was late for that because Brian decided that I was the media czar for Occupy Denver while I was going into another broadcasting studio. See, yeah. So then I had to rush and shave and comb my hair and all that shit for television. And then I had to study up on the issue. I didn't even know what I was talking about. Fortunately, I ran into Jesse Paris at the broadcasting studio. He gave me some papers to read while I was on the run with Karen. It's not the first time Karen and I have been on the run, but it was for a different thing this time. But you did? Oh, well, I was in a broadcasting studio. I couldn't have my phone on. It happens. But I don't know. I think I did all right. We'll find out when the news comes on and they spin it and they make me look as evil as Furry Potato.
Furry Potato's pretty evil, you know.
Yeah, warning, maybe dangerous literature.
Furry Potato's pretty dangerous, you know. That's like
Yeah.
terrorist level dangerous. I mean, and you know, so compared to you, you are world class terrorist level dangerous.
I was gonna say, as far as I know, Furry's not on the no-fly list yet.
Yet.
But she's getting there.
Yeah. They just have to submit the new revision.
Right. Yeah, I'm on the no-fly list and the domestic terrorist watch list. So you know,
welcome
screw
to
you, Furry. Until you get to my level, you don't even talk to me, huh? I don't even talk to all you little people. Just taking bullets and shit and thinking you're all cool.
Well, welcome to the list. I mean, I've been there since 2003.
Oh wow! You beat me there by a long shot.
I did.
A long shot.
So we have another caller coming in, an unknown caller. I'm not sure who it is. All right, welcome, unknown caller. You're live with Nomen, Liberty Freak, and Eric.
You truly are a piece of shit.
Oh, it's that piece of shit.
Oh,
all right.
that guy.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, you think you're cool, but you're not.
He's
You're
gone.
a fucking loser, diabetic, dying of cancer, dying of kidney failure, sitting in your fucking grandmother's fucking basement, failure to launch, bitch.
Hey, Eric, how do you really feel?
5 years.
Yeah, how do you really feel, Eric?
Well, I'll let you ask. Yeah, he calls me all the time. He'll call in the middle of the fucking night. Blah, blah, blah. You think you're cool. You're not. You're not.
All right, so yeah, just let me know how you want to handle it when you're ready to go to record your news footage, man. And then we can decide if we're gonna end the live or if he's gonna stay on or what's gonna happen. So.
Yo, I'm staying on. I'm staying on if you guys want.
All right.
I might just have to mute when the show comes on, huh? That's all.
Do it. And then leave your recorder on and then go outside with no shirt on and talk to us.
I'm not going to go outside with no shirt on.
Okay, dude, you're in Colorado. You are not in Indiana. You can go out with no shirt on. You'll be fine.
There's 47 inches of snow out there. Hello. Well, not anymore because Pikes have been shoveling all day. I did cause a minor avalanche earlier. Didn't I, Janet?
I don't know what she said.
I said I did cause a minor avalanche earlier.
Oh, you mean the ice for the ice cream?
Yeah. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm getting the camera set up.
Just talk amongst yourselves. Oh, you're so crazy.
Real quick.
Yeah, we've got
So,
the
yeah,
St.
man.
Guzman. Hail St. Guzman.
Oh, we're doing that. So yeah, this is a new thing for me. I heard about. So tell me about this Guzman prayer thing.
Oh, that was awesome. That was done by Fire of Sorts, which is our poet in the streams, and it was just awesome. It was just a great poem. I know Eric, he wrote it. I mean, he read it out loud in his pink tutu pig thing.
I know, that's why I heard it.
Oh, that was hilarious, right?
It
And
was.
oh, you see that kind of energy? That shit never turns off. That shit, he wakes up like that, and then all of a sudden, how it turns off, it's all of a sudden you're like, you look over, he's like,
Well,
he just fell off. Oh man, that shit is crazy. But it's making changes, and that's what really matters, right?
yeah. So,
And we're
so how did you
go
get
ahead.
started in this, man?
I got started in this because I got attacked at by Kimberly Geller, the jury commissioner of Aurora, and all of a sudden, first um I was met by someone who stream sniped me,
Uh huh.
and
They're doing
from
weather. Don't worry.
somebody stream sniped me from Wobble Me, and they had told me, uh, you guys got to go check out wobbleme.com, like Weeble Wobble,
Mhm.
and the word me, .com. They're awesome. They're all about absolute natural rights, stuff like that, and also you can learn a lot of law stuff, right? Because in the sense that they like to post a lot of cases that they have done and stuff, right? Themselves per se. So, anyways, um, he says, "Yo, you got a guy coming that's gonna be seeing you, and his name's Eric Brandt." He says, he's been here before, and he's pissed that you got arrested. And I'm like, "Who the hell's Eric Brandt, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's gonna be with this other guy, Thomas Stocks." And I thought to myself, well, this is like these dudes in suitcase, with like briefcases, right? I don't know what I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking like these two lawyers, right? They're gonna show up, right?
Eric in a
They're gonna,
briefcase in a suit.
yeah, because he's gonna say, he's trying to like, this guy's like trying to really smooth me into Eric, right? He's like, you know, people are different, you know, uh, you know, not everyone fights freedom the same.
That's
Uh,
how I, that's
okay.
how that's how I found out about Eric too. Is I was told, there's this guy named Eric Brandt, and he's a little different, and
Yeah, so he's giving like all this like this big smoothing intro, right? Like I'm like, it's like okay, I'm okay with it. I don't know, whatever, and all of a sudden the day comes, and it was the day like 2 days after my arrest. I had to go back and get some paperwork from the court for shit, and I'm trying to get paperwork for my own case on this, right?
Mhm.
And they're not listening to me, right? They're giving me 48 reasons why I couldn't get that paperwork, right? And but I knew these guys were coming, right? So I'm expecting the men in black to show up, right? These
Mhm.
guys are gonna show up, these magical dudes with a briefcase, right? And then all of a sudden, uh, I hear this talking behind me,
All right, hey,
and it's echoing.
hold on a second. Sorry to
Go
interrupt you. If any guys,
ahead.
if any of you guys in chat can check out what's going on with Monkey 83's life says medical incident in Miami, post in chat. Let me know what's going on. All right. If I need to, I can go ahead and cut over to that
Yeah,
for
please
a
do if it's
second. But if it's something small handled, I mean, if needs a band aid, go ahead and donate $1 or something and come back. But I mean, if they cut an arm off or a cop ran him over or something like that, please post in chat. Let us know. Go ahead, Abby.
Let me see, where was I at?
Yeah, you were right there.
Yeah, I was right there, right there at that spot. Man, what the fuck was I talking about?
Hey,
I don't know.
well, while you're remembering, yours news
Yeah.
now. Who was involved in the car accident? Was it them, or was it just another car accident and they weren't involved?
Well, Bunker was just talking on your stream.
Not an auditor injury. What's that?
Okay, Monkai was just he was
Yeah,
just commenting on the stream.
Yeah, he was just in here for a second, but okay. So apparently, it was not an auditor injury. All right.
Well, good.
All right.
And by the way, I'm glad that Furry is doing well. I've been saying it for a while, man. We all got to be careful out there. It's a scary thing in the pit of my stomach. It's like at some point, I always said, man, I hope I don't see an auditor get shot, right?
Yeah,
I really
know.
freaked out. I really freaked out when I saw, the furry thing. I was like, oh fuck no, right? Wow, I was like, oh, so I'm glad she's doing well, and I'm glad that she was able to, um, get out of that safely
Well, yeah, and
and
you
all
know,
that. But you guys out there, man, just be careful, man. You guys just be careful. It feels good to talk shit. It's a total adrenaline rush to yell at them, whatever, knowing that you have rights and all that kind of stuff. But you have to be careful. You're dealing with real psychos. You know, they will make a reason to hurt you.
correct,
So
and you know that's a very good point because I've had quite a few conversations with people before because besides auditing, this isn't the first time first thing that I've ever done to support the Constitution and defend the Constitution. As I said, I was added to the no-fly list back in '03. Possibly they were investigating to put me on it in '01. I don't even know, but I definitely know in '03 I was on it. And so they went and, years ago I got involved in politics. Right out of high school, I became a libertarian. And instead of just jumping into politics, I just jumped into the lion's den and said, fuck it, I'm going to be a libertarian. So then, and then I was the intel officer for the Indiana Militia, Indiana Militia Corps, and so I've done quite a few things over the course of my adulthood to support and defend the Constitution. And what a lot of people don't realize is that this is dangerous. I don't even want to call it a dangerous game because it's not a game at all.
at all.
I mean, and what a lot of people don't realize is that it really is very shocking that somebody has not gotten shot yet. Until furry. I was talking with some people just a couple weeks ago about it and thinking, I was surprised that we were ending '08 2018 and no one had gotten shot. And I was really shocked. Out of all the huge incidents that happened last year, no one got shot. I was like, well, maybe they're just not that stupid. And it took a security guard that's a certified instructor to do it.
I mean, and when you watch what he did, it was like absurd, right? I mean, like anyone that went to any kind of law enforcement class would know that he had no right to do what he was doing, right?
Oh, anybody
and
with
you're wondering who's training these people.
Okay, so anybody with any type of handgun training at all, even if you've held a handgun in your hand, I would think that you would know you don't put your finger in the trigger guard unless you're going to use it. Put it straight out next to the trigger.
You don't draw.
Yeah.
You don't draw the weapon unless it's a clear, significant danger. I mean,
correct. You don't draw it if you're not going to use it.
Correct, and it's just crazy. And what I noticed is that before, at least police officers knew more. I thought, now it seems like they know less and less. Some of the things they spout off, you're like, wow, how can you be that ignorant? And have been in law enforcement for so long. And I just believe that it's just the new technology and there's so many cameras, right? It's just starting to come out. People are all learning the laws. People are all becoming aware of their rights, and it's just turning around and burning them. That's what I think. Oh, and also that's what it was when I had met Eric. I remember that's what I was talking about.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they want to hear the rest of your story. So go ahead with the rest of your story.
Okay, so there I was, standing in the rotunda in the center of the courtroom of the courthouse there, which is a big giant, big dome kind of thing in the center there. So it echoes a lot. Excuse me. And all of a sudden I hear this loud echoing talk. And it was Eric, being Eric, right, talking to Thomas Knox.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I turn around, there's this guy, and he's got these like capri long pants, right?
All right.
They're like mid-calf.
1 second.
Sure.
You're live with Nomen and Liberty Freak. Go ahead.
Yes, I put a question in the chat. You didn't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like. No, that's fine. I'd like Eric and Abdi's take on hate speech. There is no such thing as hate speech. There is speech. There is no such thing as hate crime. There is crime.
And that is exactly how I feel about it. Because if you guys notice, most free speech law that's on the books sometimes comes from really, like folks that we're not too proud to know or have said things that are not too nice, right? So, unfortunately, a lot of the free speech cases that gives us our free speech are people like the KKK, right? And entities that are, the what was the name of that one church entity, right? They used to go protest all the time to the soldiers' funerals, right? And they used to say that the soldiers were all homosexual and it was God's judgment or whatever. It was like horrific, right? To have these jerk offs, right, to come out and say all of that at a soldier's burial. Now, it's ugly, but it's free speech, and those are the people and those are the cases that actually give that win for us and build the strength that we can still exercise this right. And like David Lane says, free speech lives in a rough neighborhood, and that's a fact. So no, I don't believe that there's such a thing as hate speech or things like that. I just believe a crime is a crime and speech is speech.
Exactly. That's my whole point. Everybody with these hate speech laws and hate crime laws, it's either crime or it's speech. There's no such thing as hate speech. There's no such thing as a hate crime. Yes, there's hate involved, but that shouldn't escalate to a different level of the crime, in my opinion.
Well, and I think it's the same way. I think it's the same way not only with hate speech laws, but also with laws such as the differentiating between, killing or hurting a cop and hurting anybody else. They're human just like anybody else. They chose that profession like anybody else chose their profession. And what a lot of people don't realize is it's actually more dangerous to be a gas station clerk working in the middle of the night than it is to be a cop. A cop has a gun.
Well, probably the most dangerous profession is a roofer.
Yeah, correct.
And how many people are on roofs every day? That's getting off topic.
All right.
And I agree. What were you saying, Nomen?
No, go ahead.
No, I believe that what he was saying about the hate speech and the hate crimes and all of that, I believe that whatever you want to call it, the elites, those above us, those who run the agenda, those kind of things, the mainstream media, they're trying to divide us, by race and, if it's not, you hate Trump, you love Trump, right? It's always like there's always a black, a white, right? A number one, a number two, an A, a B, and a million reasons to hate each other. I just believe that there should be more humanity, and that, like he said, a crime is a crime, and a crime is a crime whether it's committed by somebody in a funny costume and a badge, or whether it's done by anyone else.
Exactly. The most oppressed classification is the individual.
Correct.
Don't put me into a classification. Okay, well, I'm going to say it. There is either a man or there is a woman. Those are the only two classes on this planet.
Well, I mean, if you want to get technical about it, we're all just human.
Thank you. But the only true classification on this planet that you can put anybody into is a man or a woman. Period. Doesn't matter black, white, red, brown, green.
Well, unless you want to go into the whole gender fluidity situation.
Well, let's not go there.
Okay.
That's a deep ass topic, Aiden.
It is.
But I mean, But I just believe that they make up more and more reasons, right, to bring more and more separation. Yeah, I have a lot of topics. Like for example, like my thoughts are not the same thoughts as those I hang around with. Like for example, like most of my friends around Eric are pretty lefty, right? I'm not that type of person, right? But I love them all equally. I their views on a lot of issues may be different than mine. Um, but their common denominator is goodness, towards people, right? They don't get like very crazy in their beliefs, and our differences don't really clash, right? Because our love for one another as people is greater than our differences, right? So then I believe that that's how we should do things. I mean, and stop the divide and the reasons to hate, and look as the common as who we are as a people here in this country and what this country is doing to us, and not get lost in the whole mainstream media, agenda. Like turn that shit off. Turn on some YouTube. Watch some auditors. Right. Watch some reality TV. Real reality TV. Get away from all the other shit. Let me not rant. That's like.
I mean, it's my personal opinion that if until we get back to that we're all human, and that's it. If until we get back to that, we're always going to have classes and division and this and that that's going to separate us. And when we have all that separates us, we can never band together to treat everyone as a human, as an equal. And so until we get to that, shit's just going to be shit.
Right. Right. But now you guys can see now with the power of video and technology, you can see that it does make a change. When we raise our voices and speak up as a people, it does make a change. I have a very small channel, right? So like, when if I ask for phone calls or there's a tyrant alert kind of thing, there ain't a whole lot of people, doing, helping out, right? Calling or watching what's going on. Because even though I have 10,000 customers, I mean, 10,000 subs, I don't have 10,000 subs watching all the time, right? So it's a very nucleus of people who are always there and dedicated and watching and they care. And just that nucleus of people calling, it makes an enormous difference, right? It got Eric out of jail early, right? It makes them watch what they're doing, as far as the treatment of us or someone else. Uh, so it really does make a difference. We just gotta care enough to keep holding their feet to the fire on it, right? Like
it makes them drive their cars into trees.
Right.
Welcome back, Eric.
So I guess we're on the 10 o'clock segment. So we've got another 45 minutes to go.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that'll work.
All right. So do we still got the caller on?
Yes, and I just want to say one more thing before I jump off.
Okay.
What it really is going to take is for the entire population to do some soul searching and get to the point where you realize your own mortality and just get over all this hatefulness, this left-right paradigm that we're in. Get over it. We're all humans. The whole system is set up to keep us arguing amongst ourselves. And until you accept your own mortality and the person next to you is mortal as well, start treating each other like a human being and just live life.
Hillary Clinton is immortal.
Is she well, one of,
what is she, like 247 years old now?
So is she one of those lizards that are in the human body?
Well, there's
drinking the blood of children.
Yeah, just like social services.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, caller. Did you have anything else for us?
Just if Eric would address that question, I think he was out of the room for a minute there.
Yeah,
The
so
original.
I don't know what the question was.
What is your take on hate speech and hate crime? There is only speech and there is only crime.
I think it's very hard for me to stretch speech into crime. If you don't like what I'm saying, close your fucking ears, bitch.
Thank you.
Put on your big girl britches. And maybe a pair of pumps.
Grab a sippy cup and a cookie and go into your safe space and shut the fuck up.
Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words can never hurt me unless I'm a cop.
Make a big whale.
And you'll go to jail.
That's right.
And of course I did. Right?
All right. Well, thank you very much, caller. I appreciate you calling today.
Yep. And peacocks go, help! Help!
Help! Help! Help!
So, yeah. So we were talking. Go ahead, Liberty Freak. Finish your story now on how you met Eric.
Oh yeah. So then I hear all this talk, right? And then he's got these pants on. I call them the Barney Rubble pants because they were like.
Oh yeah, those.
Or at least I remember them this way, right? They were like all frayed on the bottom, just past his calf, and then he had on this orange shirt that said "fuck this court."
Court with a K.
Court with a K, and it had a kangaroo on it. And then, and they were both like holding their cameras up, right? And they were telling me like, you can't hold your camera. And he's like, oh yeah, really? And all of a sudden he goes, so how are you coming along? And he's like, hi, I'm Eric Brandt. And I'm like, oh, good. Like, wow, cool, nice to meet you. And my head is going crazy, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, I just had a crazy internet sniper.
You forgot about the purple toenails.
Oh yeah. And then the purple toenails, right? And I'm looking at him and I'm going, so this is definitely not the guy. I know this is not the guy. and then I went back to, well, he was like really trying to sell me something. And then I was like, oh, this is why he was trying to sell it to me. Right? People are seeing me, right? And then all of a sudden, he's like, so how's everything? And I'm like, man, they're just like, I'm trying to get papers. They won't listen to me or whatever. She's like, really?
Oh, no, okay. Let me show you how it's done.
Yeah, let me show you how it's done. And then he just went up there. And then not only did he pull it, right, but he paid for it out of his own pocket. And that's what got me, right? Like, he said, come on. And I said, hey, I don't have any money. And he said, you don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. And he's like, I got this. And he just started asking for all this paperwork, right? And he got all this shit that I would have never imagined that I could get. And then all of a sudden, and then he went to the truck and he pulls out this sign that was like a book, right? So you can flip the sign and it had like multiple signs on this one tube. So
oh yeah, I remember that group, yeah.
And it was like fuck cops and all this crazy shit, right? And he comes on, I hear him go, no justice, and I'm like, I'm like cringing, right? I'm freaking.
I'm not with this guy.
Right? And all of a sudden there was like this sense of empowerment, right? I'm like, cause I thought to myself, oh, this guy does this all the time, right? I'm sure I'm not like, he didn't start this shit yesterday, right? These signs have been made for a while, so this guy's been doing this for a while. So
well, and also when we were still inside the building, Regal comes up to me and Thomas Stocks and tells us we can't record. And Thomas is like, oh yeah? Well, let me turn the light on so you know goddamn well I'm recording you. And we absolutely would not stop recording, right?
And then after all that,
his head is down. And Regal is a big man, right? He's very big and he's buff. And he just towers over everybody. And he's just like over in the corner and his head is down. He's cowered down. And he's like, well, okay, so here's the rule. And you're not supposed to do this, but you guys be safe, okay? And he walks away.
This guy looks like he belongs more in a biker gang than he does,
Oh
works as
yeah,
a marshal, right?
yeah.
He's like he's sleeved out, right? He's got a ponytail. It's in a mushroom. It's hilarious, right? Midlife
And he's
crisis.
Cuban.
Yeah, yeah. Don't mention that. Pizzeria. So yeah, so then I see him do all that, man. And I was like, wow. I was like, can I have your number, man, or whatever? He's like, yeah, please, or whatever. And uh, and he said something about the feed on Sunday, right? Uh, and I couldn't make it. And then all of a sudden, one day I call him I couldn't remember what it was, and I called him, and then he goes, hey, uh, he goes, I'm so glad you called. He's like, he said my ride tanked on me, and he goes, and I was wondering if he goes, I need somebody to go out to Elbert County with me. You mind? Right? So no. Well, before Elbert County, we ended up getting pulled over by Sangy with the finger, right? So that was my first
Is that
taste of
before
Eric in
Albert
a car,
County?
right? That was. Oh yeah, actually it was. And
Oh my
that was my
God.
first taste of Eric in a car, right? Because then Eric was like hanging his sign out the window, right? It's flapping. He's like, yeah, don't go faster than 25 because then I can't hold it. And I'm like, oh my God, right? And it's like an absolutely anus puckering experience when it's new to you, right? Because you're like, what the fuck? I'm definitely gonna get pulled over.
And then he did. Oh my God.
And then I did. But then he invited me over to Albert, and I said, yeah, sure. I was like, this can't be too bad. And then all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of nowhere, in this little country spot, and it's just me and him. And I'm like, damn, there's not more. Is there any more people coming? He's like, nope, it's just us. And I was like, well, damn. And then from then on, it just became the debacle, and it hasn't stopped since. It's just been
No,
like
it hasn't.
the roller coaster's been going ever since.
How long
Yeah,
ago?
so like,
How long ago was that?
Liberty Freak will go out with me for like 2 days, right? And then he has to like recuperate for 2 weeks.
Yeah, March, April, May. I got arrested. What it was like April, and
no, it was really June because I was in jail until June 1st.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, until June.
Yeah.
I got arrested in June.
Rogers,
then,
since Rogers put me in jail, right? Remember Rogers? We have him again on Thursday.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, are you writing that Rule 21 on that?
No, we're not doing it. We're keeping him, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I've established the record more than excellently. So the appeal is pretty much perfected at this point. And the last thing I want to do is fuck it up by getting a good judge. It's so bad.
So yeah, so it's been this roller coaster ever since, man, and it's been a blast. I mean, I've really, I've learned a lot about myself, and I've learned a lot about, freedom, and.
So then, but basically, before all that, you really, I mean, what, if you can go into it, I mean, what basically caused you to get into this argument with this jury lady?
No. I watched that video. He didn't choose to get in an argument with the jury lady. She brought the argument to him. Let's make that quite clear.
Okay, well, I didn't know.
Well, I was just like videotaping, right? Because I was like, well, I'm in here, I was kind of bored waiting around for the teller or whatever. So that, I said it was a massive building, right?
It's actually a really nice building.
Yeah, I said, man, they really didn't spare a dime on this thing. Like they really went all out.
No, when you're spending on the backs of the little people, why spare it?
And that is exactly why I began to record, right? I wanted to show people, like, look, this is all paid for off the backs of the people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this place and look at your home. You should be pissed, right? And so, and all of a sudden she walks out of an office and she just looks at me. I step to the side to not be in her way, right? I'm trying to be respectful in that end. And so I move to the side, but I'm still recording as she walks by. And she just looks at me and goes, ew, and she like, whack, and she just whacks at my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ma'am, did you just touch me? Yeah, I said, did you just touch me? And she said, yes, I did, as she's walking away.
And she was
And
all
then,
smug and proud about it, right? And they're always so smug, right?
and,
They're
and I'm like,
so-
not real smart when you're being recorded, I tell her. And all of a sudden, when she came back, she pressed the panic button. I said, I'll find out your name. I was trying to get her name so I could make a complaint.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, she called the goons. The goons threw me out. It's, make a long story short, I get arrested. And I find out that she wrote in these statements that I was, like, chasing her around the building, right? I was, like, terrorizing her around the building and calling her the C word.
Wow.
That I was calling her a cunt and this, blah, 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 and all these bad words. And, and it wasn't so.
So
she ran for her life.
Whatever happened with that case?
Oh, well. It's not over yet.
What?
There used to be, like, in the 90s, there was, like, this club band called the KLF, right? And they used to have this song called "The KLF is Gonna Rock You," right? And well, here in Colorado, it's the KLN is gonna rock you.
The KLN is gonna rock. Raise your hand if you're not represented by KLN.
Yeah, right.
There's not a single person in this room that rose their hands. Even Russ raised his hand.
Right. And you know what? And you know why our lawyer takes these cases is not because of us. It's because the people that we're dealing with are so stupid. I mean, they're just so egregious, with the things that they do.
Yeah.
And they're so smug that even knowing that they're on video, they still commit these moronic, moves. And yet, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Well, so take a look at Kimberly Geller, right? We see her all the time at that courthouse now, don't we? And she drops her head down and she avoids us like the plague, right? And it's the same thing that this T. Simone did at Inglewood. Boy, the next day when I went in there to get some records, his face was down, his head was down. He was all, oh, no, you can go ahead and record in there. Here, come right in. I'll hold the camera. I'm keeping the camera pointed at Eric. Just come on in. And he was just very obviously in the corner, right? Because when you get a spanking as bad as they give themselves, you can't be proud of yourself anymore, right?
Yeah. Well, see, I mean, I actually wish that your attorney down there in Colorado, I talked to him one time about one of my cases, and he told me he couldn't represent me because he doesn't do Indiana. And I wish he would come up here, man, because trying to deal with Solomon Radner is the stupidest thing in the world, and I can't. He won't deal with me, so I basically had to file all my stuff on my own, and I basically had to. Thankfully, I have prior background in a lot of different types of law, and I can be able to do this on my own. But for somebody else, they wouldn't have a clue as to what to do.
It's quite hard, frankly. I do have a clue, and I would much rather be represented.
Yeah, me too, right?
But let me tell you what's happening. This is a great thing. This is so exciting because we are increasing our collective knowledge. We are increasing our collective network. We are learning to preserve evidence early. This helps. There are not enough civil rights lawyers out there to do the work. We are going to have to become our own legal champions. And if we can help make these cases good, then people like KLN can take the cases. But you got to realize these guys have people that are literally dying in the Adams County Jail for medical neglect. They have, the Logan County dental plan is you have an abscessed tooth and it hurts bad enough that they finally send you back to the pod with a rusty pair of pliers, and 4 of your cellmates hold you down while the pod goon pulls your tooth out. Damn near killed the guy.
Wow.
Okay? And okay? You've got people that are dying in the jails. And those cases definitely take precedence over our petty little First Amendment squabbles.
Okay, I mean, when you put it into real perspective. So we have to continue to increase our network. The work of this group of people is absolutely effective. And it's becoming more and more effective. We saw that on the malls today when he sped off so fast that he hit a fucking tree.
Yep.
Oh no, I'm not going to be part of this. God damn it, now I'm a part of it. Okay, this is effective work. I'm very excited by what we're seeing.
So Jerry posted a question in chat. He wanted to know if you knew that your wiener ages 7 times faster than the rest of you.
Unfortunately, I was well aware of that witheringly disturbing statistic.
Okay.
Old Rusty Roo.
Oh, Rusty. Yeah, that too.
What's that?
Now that was funny.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Too bad I'm still clueless.
Well, it's working for us. We're having a fun time at your expense. You'll get over it.
That's all right. I'm sure I will. Not the first time, not the last.
What a cool name, Lost in the Couch.
Well, hey, so what did you guys think of Pajama Audit's phone calls to the Arapahoe County Jail?
I didn't hear them, unfortunately.
Oh my God, they were fucking hysterical. I gotta tell you, so you got these cops in there, and there's Lakeside, no, wait, what was that? Littleton, and Greenwood Village, and, all these agencies bringing people in, right? And there's the Arapahoe County Sheriffs that are running the jail. And then there's these 3 idiots with 80 years of experience collectively, and everyone in the room is making fun of them. Okay? Not just us. Right? Not just us. And if you didn't believe me on this, listen to Pajama Audit's phone call, and you will absolutely believe me, right? Because that guy was totally playing into her fun. Right? She's trying to do welfare checks on us, and he's like, no, I can see Mr. Brandt from here. He is just as irritating as he has ever been. He's doing just fine. Well, what about my good friend Liberty Freak TV, Abadi Irizarry? And he's like, oh yes, he's just as irritating as Mr. Brandt is. They're doing just fine.
as we ringleader the festivities, right, in the book, and we're just ringleadering the festivities, right?
Oh my God, it was awesome.
Right.
Nobody in that room thought that Inglewood cops were doing it right. Right? You can tell from his conversation with Pajama Audits. He's like, "Oh, you said the F word, and I'm very offended. What's your name? Where are you? I'm going to have you arrested for offending me." And he said, "Oh my God, I just died laughing. He died laughing. It was fucking hysterical." And then that one guard that so this guy, Liberty Freak, finally goes into a bathroom, right? Well, this is like the first time he saw a bathroom, huh?
Right.
He's in there, and the guy is like, shh, be quiet, you guys, be quiet. And he's standing right there by the door, and then all of a sudden, Liberty Freak comes out the bathroom door, and he slams the door back at him, and comes out with his hand on his head. Oh my God, man. And Liberty Freak's eyes like get the size of dinner plates. Oh my God. Oh, it was so fucking funny. Those guys were having such a best fucking time they ever had in their lives in that room.
Yeah, I'm sure they've never had that much fun at booking ever.
Never.
I'm going to let you all talk for a minute. I'll be right back. This diabetic has to use the bathroom. And there was a question in the...
in your pants like everybody else, huh?
Yeah, right. So there was a question in the chat while I'm gone.
Act like a lady, huh?
Yeah, there was a question in the chat by Your News Now. He wanted to find out who you all's favorite auditors and cop watchers are. Okay.
Well, I'm a big fan of myself, actually. I mean, let's be honest, right? That's the only one I can say without pissing people off. So that's what my answer is going to be.
Yeah, I guess same here, right? There's so many people out there that I love, and to mention names, right, it would hurt people's feelings. But I do have to say, it's like an ultimate shout out to like the OGs, the ones that got me into this. It would have to be right off the top of my head, most of all would be Mr. Jeff Gray, because he's the consummate professional, right? He's just like the guy that always does it right. And then for the crazy guys, I always liked Sean Thomas from New York City and J.C. Playford. Those are the guys that I first started watching that I was like, what the hell? You can talk to the cops like that?
You know, I used to like James Freeman, but then he came to Colorado and he changed, right?
Right, because he was nice and he was a good young man.
He was nice and polite, and now he's like, no, fuck you, pig. Right? So, yeah, so I had to unsub from James Freeman. I couldn't take the language anymore.
Crazy.
Yeah. Fuck obey, huh?
Yeah.
No, I get asked that question all the time, actually. And people say, oh, are there any auditors that you don't like? And blah, 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 blah. Well, here's my answer. Stay out of the petty fucking drama.
Oh, please. Oh.
Yeah, you're not going to get me to talk trash about anybody except James Freeman and Liberty Free TV and Brian Loma and Pike Speak Auditors and...
Don't forget Colorado Donkey Watch. He fucks up.
Oh, yeah, Colorado Donkey Watch and News Now Colorado and First Amendment Strike Team. But other than that, I'm not going to talk shit about anybody else. Well, yeah, I mean, there's just so many people out there that I should talk trash about. I guess I'm just going to talk trash about all y'all motherfuckers. The only auditor I'm not going to talk trash about is Janet. I can't wait to see her first audit. Wouldn't that be great? Janet, when are you going to do your first audit? Come on, you're live. Give us an answer.
Janet's like, never, motherfuckers. I got shit to do. She's like, I got a job, I got a house, and then I got to house all you motherfuckers, too. So
I got all you fuckers on my couch. And...
Oh, we love you, Miss Janet. You are the best. That lady is she is tirelessly wonderful.
She likes it. It's good for us, huh? Oh my God! Thank God I had the camera off. That was disgusting. No, but my official answer on that is that I'm not going to criticize other auditors. I might talk about other techniques, other people's techniques, but I do that privately, okay? Because this is a movement that needs to have a unified front, even though we're all individuals.
Correct. I agree. I agree 100% with that.
Yeah. So you're not going to hear me talk trash like other people do. People don't like this guy. People don't like that guy. People don't like that girl. Well, take from them the best of them and move forward with what you think is the best of their work. And discuss and criticize each other in private, right? We don't put that out. We don't air our dirty laundry. We air their dirty laundry.
Now, I do have to say, though, that if an auditor is doing something that they absolutely need to be called out on for accountability purposes to keep the community honest, then we should do that. Otherwise, if it's just about a technique or something like that, then no, you can have your differences, but stay unified.
If an auditor is doing something that needs to be called out, then it's a private question. It's not an auditing question.
Email.
You're not going to hear me talk trash about people publicly. I'll talk to that person individually.
Yeah, you email them, right? You email them and you talk to them in private. But when we take these battles out there to the public, then we just look like a bunch of buffoons that that are easy to tear apart, right?
Right. And I'll tell you what my greatest strength has been. Okay, y'all motherfuckers can't make dirt look like dirt. Go ahead, insult me. Go ahead. Right? What are you going to do, huh? Okay, gay atheist tweaker living on the street with a giant fuck the cop sign. Just how much bad could it get?
Jerry says that he hates it when auditors make him pay for sex.
I would never make him pay for sex.
Oh, there you go, Jerry.
There you go.
Getting gross. Getting gross. Getting gross.
Getting gross. Nomen's used to working with swine. It can't get any grosser than that.
It does not. That is the epitome of the gutter.
Oh,
I see swine. I like swine, actually. If you guys have ever had the displeasure of having a lot of personal conversations with him, you'd find him hard not to like. He's actually a pretty good guy.
So apparently he's, according to everybody in the chat, he's over there trashing us right now because he's really pissed that I disconnected him.
Oh, well, I think he was disconnected before he called in, but that's okay.
We love you, swine.
You like swine.
I don't think I have anything bad to say about anybody.
Signed out for 3 million seconds. That's funny. That's fucking funny. No, I like a lot of the different techniques, right? You've got the pajamas. I'm sorry, the pajamas are so ridiculous you can't not love them, right? And I definitely experienced this firsthand when I wore that pink tutu to the mall yesterday. Oh my god, it was a riot. The only person that noticed I was barefoot was the fucking bathroom dude, right? Nobody else made it past the tutu. So
yeah, right, with a pig's head.
I know. God, that was fun. But you gotta have fun with this, right? Who was it today? Was it High Desert that had the ducks on? He's like the ducks. They're like grouping together. They're calling in reinforcements. They're refusing to identify. Was that High Desert? Who was that? That was. It was. Oh yeah, News Now California, right? He did that little skit with the ducks on the pond. I thought it was great. You guys, we gotta have fun with this shit because these are very serious subjects. And when you keep telling people how they're gonna die, they're just gonna tune you out.
Yeah.
You gotta show people that there's hope. You gotta let people know that you can do this without just being this horrible victim all the time. So yeah, we're victims. Don't get us wrong. But I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to have a good time with this shit. Go ahead, cut my arm off. I'll laugh at the blood.
So
I'll pick my own arm up and slap the shit out of you.
And
Potato does a good job of that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Everybody has their own technique of doing things, and that's great because everybody should have their own technique of doing things so that things are tested in different ways. Right. And I mean, just like, okay, I have a certain way I do things when I go out and audit as Nomen Nescio. But when I go out and audit as qualified immunity, you cannot compare the two at all. So it's like, I mean, there's definitely a need to do things in a different way sometimes. And, and that's good. Because, I mean, if you did things the same way, then it's predictable. If there was one set way to do an audit, then it's completely predictable. They could write a handbook on how to avoid falling in the trap of an audit. And the only thing that they would really need to do in order to do that is one page, respect our rights. But they seem to think it's like a 1,000,000-page book of how to avoid getting caught up in an audit.
Well, I don't think they think it's a 1,000,000-page book because this would grossly over-imply that they can read.
It would, yes.
If they could read, they'd be in the law library instead of the gun range.
No, I said a picture. I didn't say what kind of book, but it's probably a picture book.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll give it to you then.
Okay.
Yeah. So I learn a lot from all the other auditors. I think it's great. I see everybody like incorporating each other's little things, and that's great. That's called culture. We have a culture. And as long as we don't become complacent, we're going to have a lot of power. And as long as we don't get involved in the fucking petty drama squabbles, we're going to be powerful.
Correct.
I think we are powerful. I think it's growing, and I'm excited.
I'm always excited to be out there. I mean, it's not, it's when you boil it all down, we're all getting in trouble for words.
Yeah, words. Always bringing words to a gunfight, aren't we?
Apparently you did. And you know what? Apparently, sometimes you don't even have to bring words, and you still bring no words to a gunfight and still get shot.
Well, yeah,
The one time,
citizen.
well, apparently, the one time ever that Furry is silent and she gets shot.
Right.
Right. So, my advice to Furry is don't shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Keep talking shit, Furry. Keep talking shit. But look, Furry always keeps it lighthearted, right? Furry always keeps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, her honest, nice and lighthearted, right, and fun to watch or whatever. You know, and then if she has to turn around and turn on that Marine shit, you know, she'll get nose to nose and be like, "Ugh." You know, and that's.
I ain't gonna fuck with her. She'll fuck me up, right?
Right.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but she's not aggressive all the time.
Super respect there.
Yeah. Damn.
She could fuck me up with her hands. She could fuck me up with her words. I ain't fucking with that bitch. Bad plan.
Super bad plan.
I love Furry's giggle. Yes. I was going to say that, but somebody else said it before me.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, apparently Black Label decided to show up. I'm sure.
Black Label.
Black
Label tried to visit me in jail, and they denied him.
What?
I understand they refunded his money and would not let him do a visit because of his YouTube channel.
Wow.
I love Black Label. Zach Wild is one of my favorite guitar players.
So thank you, Black Label, for trying, right? But Regan Benson and Bow, and Brian King, we already fucking ruined that for you. They wouldn't let us do that again. Nope, he's got a YouTube channel. He's going to broadcast. He can't do it. Cancel it. Fuckers. All right, motherfuckers. I see your bet and I raise. Let's get the fucking video from the pod. Ha!
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that, dude. So I've tried to FOIA request a video from a pod once, and they stated that some type of private security concerns, saying that one of the people that was in the pod was a protected individual in a federal investigation, and I told them that, and I tried to get them to prove it and all that, and they wouldn't prove it, and they still won't give me the video.
All right, so I'm going to announce a strategy here. I don't know if you guys watched the interview on Brian King's channel last night with First Amendment Strike Team, and about how he's been fucking with Pueblo because they fucked with him. And then Pueblo just absolutely, they initially agreed, and then they absolutely fucking refused to do any training or change any policy. Is how I understood that. So then they just agreed to a cash settlement. Let's close the case. Let me tell you, this is good for Fast because he got some cash out of it. We get to expose Pueblo for the fucking douchebags that they really are. And this is what I have to say to you, Pueblo, Colorado. Y'all done fucked with the wrong bitch today. And you will pay that $30,000 you think you saved in First Amendment Strike Team's case, because I'm coming to Colorado, to Pueblo, and I'm going to fuck shit up for you. All right? You will pay for your sins. And I believe that I have several hundred people standing behind me on that one. So I just wanted to say that. Pueblo's going to pay. They're all going to pay. When they get stupid and they won't give you the video for the pod, we make them pay. When they get stupid and people in the jail, I make them pay. You want to know how to get kicked out of jail? Make them pay.
So
you show up in court, they've already got the videos for you. You don't even have to ask for them. They're like, "Hey, by the way, I have the video."
Yeah, I know, right? I've done that here. I've done that here in Gary, where they're like, "Yeah, we knew you were gonna come for these."
Oh fuck! Hey, I gotta go, guys. For a minute, bye. I'll be back.
All right, no problem. So, Patrick brought up a good point that I was I knew about this show, but that show on A&E called Jail or something like that, where people volunteer to go to jail for 30 days for an experience, and they like video record their experience, have hidden cameras and shit like that.
I've never seen it.
Really?
I don't watch a whole lot of television ever, but I
No.
always say something similar. I always say that someone should spend at least 1 week on the street as part of your life.
Yeah, I think it's called 60 Days In. Like CIA's put on there. I think it's called 60 Days In, and you go there and you volunteer to go in, and then they make it seem like to everybody, literally, even I don't remember how it goes, but basically, I believe that it's either they use hidden cameras, because I've only seen it once, because I didn't watch it on TV. It was I watched it maybe on YouTube or somewhere, and it's either hidden cameras or they say that you're part of some type of documentary on whatever crime they say you committed and stuff like that, or something like that. But then you go and you document all this for like 60 days of what goes on inside the jail and what your experience is and all that. It was actually a pretty cool show.
Wow, that sounds kind of cool. I should do that with the youth, but that would be scared straight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah, but I would say, like, I say the same, but I say everybody should always spend like a week on the street, right? So that you kind of learn to love the things that you have and, appreciate life and be grateful for the things that we have, right? And not take them for granted. Know that everybody's always just a paycheck away from that, right? And then I believe that if everybody would do that, you would have a little bit of understanding, a little bit more love for your fellow man.
Yeah. That is true.
Man, I'm going to have to let you go.
No problem. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you both for coming on here. I appreciate it. Glad you can come on and I can bring more awareness to, this arrest that happened. And, I mean, hopefully everything goes good with it. And I wish you the best. Just keep us updated.
I'll be keeping everybody updated.
Cool, yeah, and before I let you go, I wish Eric was on here. I was going to mention earlier real quick that one of the things that I'm going to be in the process of working to try to start up here is I'm going to be starting up a brand new channel that's like an emergency response system where basically, with the incident that happened with you guys, I was monitoring like several different live streams and stuff that day. I happened to be bored, and somebody came across and says, hey, these guys were arrested. So I went ahead and popped on you guys' channel, and actually I popped on Loma's first, and we started recording right away. I immediately hit my software, started live streaming right away, so that people could go in and there were more witnesses of what was going on, and everybody knew what was going on faster. And then I did the same thing when that furry got shot. And, it brought more awareness to it faster because I was restreaming that live stream and getting it out there that, hey, this is what's going on. And I think if we had, like I said, just one central channel with somebody that had the ability to do that type of thing, that would bring a lot more awareness to certain situations because, I noticed in both of those situations, I was able to get the word out to quite a few people, and then those people got the word out, and then those people got the word out, and, I was able to provide quite a bit more coverage on it than just simply, going and, hearing from somebody, oh, well, hey, this happened, and, going and checking it out myself or something, because I was live streaming it, I was able to record that, and then the short amount of time, it's like sometimes maybe even an hour or two, depending on how long a person's live stream is, when it goes down for processing at the end of when they're done live streaming, that footage is gone for that 1 or 2 hours, whatever it is during processing time. So I was able to push my footage out of what I cut it down to what I played earlier. I was able to push that link out on a whole bunch of people's live streams and videos and stuff, and be able to make sure that people could still view what happened with that arrest while your stream and Brian's stream were both down for processing. And
which I really appreciate everybody that does that. Right, because I actually like the way that like for example when that issue happened with Furry, right? You got on YouTube and all you saw was Furry, and it was like the whole community coming together, right? Like they were banging a bell, like they were, like blowing a horn,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the way that when these happen, like for example, you have someone who has maybe a small channel, but once the word starts getting out, all of a sudden you see their live stream goes to like over 1,000 viewers, right? Um, and I like that. I like that communication between all the people. You know what I mean? And getting to know all the auditors and even the small ones. Um, I say expose more auditors, like in the sense of the small guys, right? Put them on your channel, highlight them, get them out there, let people see them, right? Let their channels grow. And the more we do that for each other, the bigger this thing is going to get. Because you have guys like San Joaquin, which he features a lot of guys, right? Um, High Desert will do it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure a lot of other people do it too, even yourself, like what you're doing now. By doing this, it really gets out there, and it's really growing pretty big. If you guys consider, I've been watching this movement since Cop Block, and that was only a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and this movement has absolutely exploded in the last couple of years. I mean, it's just fucking gone over the top, right? If we keep doing it this way, it's gonna be mainstream for real.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in, Liberty Freak. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for spending 2 hours with us.
Hey, man,
Out of
thank
your
you for
day,
having me.
man. All right. You have a good one, man. Bye.
Yeah, man. Love to everyone.
All right, guys. So thank you all very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. All right. I am going to end the live stream now. I thank you all very much for tuning in. Please check the description and go subscribe if you're not already to Eric Brandt and Liberty Freak TV. There are 2 links down there for Liberty Freak TV. There should be one down there for Eric too. All right. Thank you all very much. Have a great night. Be safe and always defend the Constitution.